Hi everyone, welcome to the final round from Leeds. I was playing against Mark Taylor 158 ECF from Rochdale, so quite a tough game. He pasted me it once before, but he had white at that time. What also made it tough was that he defaulted round 3 through turning up an hour late. So really he was on he'd won like a couple and drawn a couple, he'd not lost, which was not good. I was white and played e4. He played Sicilian, so I played 2c3. Nice and solid, preparing him to play d4. He played d5. So this is one of the best moves. The point is, once I play c3, I can't play a quick knight c3 and kick a queen that comes to d5. So black is taking advantage of that. Other main move is Ne5 which is sort of like an Alekhine type line, because white plays e5 and the knight gets kicked around a bit, essentially. And you got as many moves. There's a Bob Newton speciality. I was worried I might get this actually, because it's a Bob Newton speciality this, and he plays for same club. The point is to prevent d4 rather radically by pinning the pawn on c3. Also g6. So after d4 we have takes, d5, hitting back in the centre. There's a6, which I think another one person from his club, Mark White, had just played. d6, rather dodgy, perky type move. And e5, trying to prevent d4 with pawns, but white can usually take advantage of the d5 square and play bishop c4. What other moves is there? There's so many moves. I think even b6 is playable. It's knight c6. Just so many moves in this position. But they're not really very theoretical. Any moves, so it's less theoretical than open Sicilian anyway. So after d5, which he played, e takes d5, queen takes d5. I played d4, and usually this leads to an IQP position where white gets like more space and attacking chances, but black gets good end games. Knight c6, knight 3. Played e6. It's been like 20 minutes, like really early on, which is a bit strange. Oh, 10 minutes, at least 10 minutes it was. The other moves are bishop g4 is the main move, and then you got d takes c5 is what I was going to play, which leads to some interesting end games. He played e6, which is a solid line. I played bishop e3, knight f6, now knight a3, and after c takes d4 I played knight b5 first. The idea is to take back with a knight. And after queen d8, this is all favour this, knight b takes d4, knight takes, you play queen takes. The point is, white ends up with a very small endgame advantage, which is quite good, because if black knows the c3 Sicilian, well, you usually don't get an advantage. But this is a bit better for white, this, because of the queenside pawn majority. That's the only reason why it's better for white. It's pretty equal apart from that. Bishop e7 was played. Bishop d6 is usually more active, usually more played. This was a novel to this, like castle queenside. But it's perfectly logical, putting my king where my pawn majority is. Castles, bishop empty d3. But the problem is I've not had this position before, so I didn't really know how you're supposed to win it with this queenside pawn majority. You played h6, rook h1. It was froze. Rook d8. I'm starting to get a good position now, because what he really needs to play b6, bishop b7 against bishop out. I should have done that over the last few moves, but now I punish him for not doing it. I play knight e5. So now if b6 I can play knight c6, and I want to win the bishop pair because it's an open position. King f8 didn't really get this move. He spent ages on it as well. Bishop back to c2. Knight came to d5. Now I play g3, which is a very good move because this is black's only active piece, and he wants to put it into f4 and cause some problems, so I'll stop him. And because black can't play b6, bishop b7 without incurring the loss of the bishop pair, then it doesn't matter to weaken these squares. Bishop moving back to d6, now he's lost the move. I played rook d3, an interesting plan, trying to swing the rook across to f3. He played f6, so he wanted to get his bishop out of the way before playing that, so knight g6 check didn't do anything. So I went back to c4 and it went back to e7. I played f4, a good move because he was threatening to play e5 and get a strong central space and keep my bishop off its good square. Now he played b6 finally. But of course he can't move his bishop yet because e6 is weak, so I had a plan to pile up on e6. I played rook back to d2, preparing rook de2, king f7. It's assessed about equal this, but White's position is a lot easier to play. Rook de2, rook b8. So I was actually struggling to find a way to break through now. I guess I had a way of the bishop e4 ideas. I put my knight back on d2, aiming to swing it round somewhere, maybe to g6, knight c7. So now he wants to get his bishop out, so I stopped him with bishop b3, forcing the knight back. And now I actually could have played f5 in this position. I was looking at f5 all the time, but I thought he plays e5, but I can just take it. And if he takes back, rook takes e5. I'd seen this. Now what I missed was that he can't play bishop b7 because I have rook takes e7 check. So actually after e5, if he plays that, I can just take it, and I've won the pawn. So after f5 instead, I think he's losing the pawn either way actually. So king f8, just take this guy. Yes, I've missed the chance then. But I played knight, I missed it and played knight f3 because my poor calculations struck again. Rook came to b7. Played knight h4, which is not good because now I play g5. And I was crashed again. Yeah, now it's feeling very uneasy now because he's trying to take that pawn. If I take this pawn, if he takes back with the h pawn, after my knight goes to g2, he can think about. We can't play yet because bishop takes, but he can think about in the future playing e5. So I didn't like that at all. So I went knight g2, thinking to win the knight, but I can also come to e3 and get rid of that strong knight. Rook c7, king b1, because in this position, if he moves his knight, his friendly rook takes d4, so a bit of prophylaxis. Rook d6, adding more protection. Now I played rook f2, but this was actually playable. I didn't look at it for very briefly. I thought g takes f4, knight takes, e takes, g takes. And I thought I've just got rid of his weak pawn, but now the d5 pawn's weak as well, and I've got e-file pressure. But still, it's nothing special. Rook f2, trying to move to the f file, and I'm actually threatening bishop e5 in this position. He's a pretty serious threat because I was skewing his rooks, and if he takes it, then I take back with check it. There's a discovered attack on his rook. That's one tactic I did see, but shame he saw it as well. It's king g7, h4, trying to blast open the king's side. He played g4, keeping it shut. I played h5, which I thought at the time was a good move because he tries to fix his g4 pawn as a weakness because he can't play f5, but this pawn isn't weak. And now he should have played knight b4, tricky move which I'd missed, but was both in time trouble now. And if bishop takes f6 check, bishop takes f6, c takes b4, well, it's not really worth winning the a pawn for the bishop pair, and also I've got structural damage and black's got very good compensation after rook d3. Knight e3 and bishop d4 pinning me down. I've got to move this rook here. That's like e5, this is just very uncomfortable. So he played b5, knight e3 finally, he's got to take, rook takes e3. So now I am applying the pressure on e6. And if his king ever returns to f7, I've always got f5 with a pin. Now I've got rid of that knight. He played a5, so a bit of time trouble, rook fd2. And I played rook dc6 rather than rook cc6, which was a bit of a shock, but it's actually better than it looks. I expect him just to play this. And then see what I've got in this position. But this one, so I played bishop takes c6. Bishop c5 then was played, and I wasn't sure what I was doing now. I played the bad one. I played bishop takes c5, but I didn't really spend much time on it because I didn't really have much time. Should have played this one instead. If rook takes c8, then we play bishop takes c5, rook takes c5, rook e7 check. King moves back, and then if we play something passive like rook h2, he gets really good counterplay with b4. So I've got to probably let that pawn drop and play something like rook b7. And then we could play this with a very strong position. So that was a good winning chance. I took this one instead, and now I'm just going to just take this one. And now I'm just going to cover bishop's opposite colour if I'm not careful. If I move this bishop, say to d4, then after he moves this bishop, again I've got the problem with the h pawn, and even if I'm a pawn up, it's going to be hard to win with bishop's opposite colour. So I took this one, but I've not seen really what's coming, because after this we took these guys came off, and now we've got the extra 15 minutes back, so I had a good long think in this position, and realised that actually I can't defend my h5 pawn. So, and if I lose that pawn, it's going to play stuff like rook h3 and rook takes g3 and that g pawn will run, so I'll probably lose. So I'll play rook h6, a4. It's interesting, you could try rook takes h5. Just second, well, be accepted to be the pawn down, and then rook h3, giving up this pawn as well. Because the thing is, although I've got 3 connected past pawns, that g pawn is a lot more dangerous. It's going to be quite hard to defend this. See if I start going on a race. See, and this pawn's going to queen with check as well, so he's going to queen before me. So now I've got to like start checking. The rook b8 trying to skew the pawn, and then so actually P's out to draw this because of this because we've got this, and either side can really profit from this. But after he played 84, kept it safe. He's been feeling worse all game. I had a lot of pressure anyway. I was better all game, but I just checked and then pulled it back and offered a draw, which was accepted practically straight away, which meant for yet another draw, my 4th draw of the event, and also means that I could do with maybe working on my c3 Sicilian. But generally I played this game really well against a strong aggressive player who pasted him last time. And another day I might have won. He played very good in time pressure actually. He only had 6 seconds left to move 37 I mean. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the series on Leeds. Got 3 out of 5, which isn't bad, but good practice for major open, the quick plays for the next fortnight. Interesting games. I should have probably won more. Didn't get any money, which is a shame. But it was a very good weekend, as usual. And I hope you enjoyed this series. And please leave any comments and thoughts. Thanks very much.